Hi, my name is Brett Allison, and I wanted to talk to you today about IntelliMagic Vision's support for XtremIO. So one of the things that we are really proud of in our solution is the ability to incorporate machine capabilities into the evaluation of the workload that's occurring on the machine, so that you can get a real good sense of how close to the edge of the envelope you are for the particular workloads you're running on your particular infrastructure. The first thing I'm going to show is the XtremIO disk storage system dashboard, and I'm showing several different controllers here. We're looking at a few key metrics across the top: the I/O rate, the read and write throughput, the read latency, and the write latency. And we're just not in these particular boxes hitting at a box level, at least, anything where we're concerned about the capabilities or where we have any concerns about the latency. The other way to look at this is at the node level. Now, there is a concern at the node level. We're looking at some different metrics here. We're looking at the port read and the port write latency, as well as the CPU utilization. We can tell on this one particular cluster that we have some node utilization concerns, and you can see that just by looking at it, drilling down, which I did in one click. Now I'm looking at the nodes, and we do have fairly conservative thresholds, 35 and 50% as the warning and the exception. And it looks like for a couple of these we're running above 40%. For the sake of the evaluation, this is a good way to show that there's a potential issue, but we may actually want to bump those thresholds up a little bit more and be a little bit less conservative. So that's just a way to view the high level and then drill down to the individual nodes, and in case of the ports, to the individual ports if there are port issues. Another very helpful thing to do, and in particular on most controllers, you want to see how well balanced you are across the resources on the storage system. For the most part, the CPU and the back end workload gets balanced fairly evenly across the storage controllers. Resources, where we do run into trouble oftentimes, is the front end port connectivity and the workload across the front end port. So this is a good way to just look at how busy my ports are and if it's balanced. I'm showing the average in the green dot. The green rectangle shows the 10th and the 90th percentile, and the yellow rectangle shows the minimum and maximum. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill down to the ports for this particular box. You can see that there's 4 ports on this system that are extremely busy, and so I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and identify those ports, and I can see what zones are included in that port if the zoning information is available. I can also look at the connected switches if that connected switch port information is available. So the key here is that we've got a quick way to see how well balanced the connectivity is. In this case, obviously I've got some hosts that are very busy that are connected to only 4 of the ports, and I'm going to tap out on port resources. So I would want to spread the workload across additional ports if possible. From a port throughput, we provide a series of charts: read throughput, write throughput. This read throughput is concerning on a couple of these boxes, and so I can drill down and I can see exactly which ports. It looks like I've got 4 ports. These are the same 4 ports we just looked at that are running very, very high. They're 8 gigs, and they're doing close to 8 gigs a second. Write throughput is also of a concern for to a lesser concern, and it's just showing a warning. And we've got 1 or 2 ports here that are actually 4 ports that for some periods of the time we're concerned about. Fortunately, the latency has not been affected. I've got port read latency and port write latency. In terms of which hosts are driving the load, we've got an ability to look at the initiator groups and see who is actually driving the load, and also if they're experiencing any overall latency or read latency and write latency. So very quickly you can look at the ports that are busy, the initiators, see who's driving the load, and we also provide this view from the key metrics from a volume perspective. Which volumes are the top volumes in the environment. And we can see there's a couple volumes that really have almost all of the throughput to them, And there's also a volume that really has the most IOs. So this is a good way to see who your heavy hitters are, how much workload they're doing, and keep an eye on them. And if we want to see the back end, just how much throughput is going on the back end and read and write IOs, we also provide insight into that. And that's the back end, kind of the disk groups. So that's just a quick overview of the performance capabilities of IntelliMagic Vision as it relates to XtremIO. The beauty, of course, is you can drill down and view how things are connected, and or with any of our platform support, we'll provide end-to-end mapping, assuming we have the host and the fiber channel connectivity information available. So hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please send a note to info@intellimagic.com. Thanks.